Today's video is very serious. I will talk about how you can manifest a relationship and even a marriage with a specific person, the Neville Goddard way. I have mentioned in some of the previous videos I have married my specific person, and I have a bulletproof method that I used. After watching today's video, you will know how to use the same method in any circumstances and navigate your relationship with a specific person, and even marry them if that's what you truly want. Now, I must say, this is a very serious decision. So before you go ahead with this method, I want you to ask yourself if this is what you really want. Remember the saying, be careful what you wish for. This method is very powerful, and I can't imagine anything more important than choosing the right partner. Whether it is a serious commitment to a relationship or marriage down the line, you need to understand. This is a huge manifestation and a really big life decision. Partners we choose have a great impact on the trajectory of our life. Choosing the right partner has a direct effect on your mental health, your financial well-being, your relationship to others, and even your overall health. This is the one person you will be exposed to the most throughout your life. I am assuming if you are watching this video that you have a specific person in mind and that you have entirely serious intentions with them. I know how this technique is powerful, and this is why I need to add a disclaimer. You can get the person and realize this isn't what you want. This happened to me when I was younger, and then you risk breaking someone's heart and going through a lot of turmoil yourself. So please, before you even step into this field, just do an introspection and see if this person truly is someone you resonate with on a deep level. A good question to ask yourself is, do you share the same values and do you have similar lifestyle? Is he or she someone that likes to party and you are more of a home person? Do you see yourself having a big family and they don't want kids? These are some of the things we need to consider before actually going that far and committing to someone. My wife told me before we met she had realized she can only commit to a guy whose lifestyle she can conform to. That really resonated with me because once you are committed to living with someone and planning a family, you need to have these facts straight. If you are young and maybe a girl rejected you, you may feel as if you want her back really badly, but what you actually want is revenge. Sometimes even the older ones fall into this trap, where they see getting someone back as a way of revenge. Then recognize this video is not for you because you need to reconsider the motives for wanting someone back in your life. This could be just your ego talking. I am not saying you cannot manifest them back, but I am saying if you did something to compromise your relationship, maybe you cheated or ghosted them, then maybe you need to consider the reasons why you did it. Maybe something was missing, or perhaps you felt like you didn't deserve them and you have some deeper unresolved issues. And now that all you want is to have them back, you have lost sight of the fact you weren't fulfilled in that relationship in the first place. Or perhaps you could be in a situation where the other person is ghosting you, and the reason you want them back is because you desperately seek validation. So first check with yourself if it's your ego talking, or is it truly your heart's desire? We can like someone we aren't compatible with, but if you choose someone compatible with your lifestyle, someone who shares your aspirations, trust me, your life will be more pleasurable. So a good question to ask yourself is, what kind of life do I want, and is this person compatible with the person I am becoming? Once you have found what you are looking for, and you are sure you have found someone you can grow with, someone who generally supports you, someone with a capacity to stay with you through thick and thin, and someone you can have good fun and laugh with, then by all means use the method I used and get what you want, because this method will make it happen. I trust your decision is clear, and you are sure you want to be in a committed relationship, or you want to marry your specific person. Then keep on watching. I will uncover the secrets gathered through a 10-year journey of my own. Depending on your circumstances, maybe you have some major obstacle between you and your specific person. Not that it makes any difference to manifesting them at all. But let's say you live in different countries and you're in a long-distance relationship, or you maybe have a lot of pressure from your family because you don't come from the same background, or you come from different religions. And maybe you are even experiencing your specific person doesn't want to see you. And even if they love you, they don't feel like committing just yet because they have issues with commitment or have other life things going on. Whatever the circumstances may be, your logical mind doesn't know how to bridge the gap between the two of you and doesn't know how to resolve it. And I have been there. You wouldn't believe how small my chances were with my wife when I first laid my eyes on her. At the time, I was living and working in Ireland. One day, I came home from a long day at work and decided to relax browsing through YouTube. I open up my feed and stumble upon this woman talking about a health crisis that happened in the past several years. I looked at this girl talking in the video, and I swear I lost my breath. She was everything I ever imagined. Ginger hair, blue eyes, and a smile like you wouldn't believe. The way she was talking made me realize she is very intelligent, and the way she spoke conveyed to me she sees the world with similar eyes as I do. On top of it all, she was saying things that would take a lot of balls to say on social media. Beautiful, bright, courageous. I was in awe of her. I felt like a teenager staring at a poster of their idol. And what are my odds at the time? To me, it seemed incredible. The video I was watching of her had millions of views, and I am just a guy who works 9 to 5, not much money really saved up at the time, and staying with my parents in a small apartment across the world from her. Man, she seemed so out of my league. I remember watching her talk in this video and whispering to God, if this woman ever needs anything, I want to be there for her. From then on, every once in a while, I would look at her videos and imagine talking to her or just spending time with her discussing different ideas or events in the world. To be honest, with no hope something like that could ever happen. Soon everyone was in lockdown and I had all this free time. I started to daydream about her. During that isolation period that seemed to go on forever, without seeing friends and family, knowing there was someone like her out there in the world kept me sane. One day I decided to look her up on social media, and I texted her saying, if she ever needs any help with anything, I would love to be there for her. Obviously, she never responded. She didn't even see it. Time went, and over a year went by. In the meantime, I had a girlfriend, but the relationship ended because our views of life were very different. And I just couldn't settle. Something within me was stopping me. So I was back single again, and all of a sudden my family from abroad invites me to visit them to a country near where my YouTube crush lives, just a couple of hours drive from her. I decided it would be great to see my family after all that time we haven't seen each other. But more than anything, I had this image in my mind that I could possibly see her. So I flew there, and after a few days, I felt this huge rush of inspiration to contact her again. I wrote to her how I am a man of several talents, and if she ever needs any help with anything, I would love to be there for her. I seriously was happy to even just be her friend. I wasn't holding on to the position I would take up in her life. I just wanted to be around her energy. I have been happy with just the thought of her existing. She made me fall in love with life again, and she didn't even know I exist. This time around, she responded. She invited me to come and visit her and her team. I thought, okay, she could use someone like me on the team. Within days, I packed my bags and went to see her, and within few weeks of meeting each other, we moved in together. I moved everything just to be with her, and to this day, everything felt so natural. Later on, she told me as she was reading my message, she felt deep nostalgia and a feeling like she knew me for a long time. She also said she felt drawn to me in a way she couldn't even explain. In this moment, I realized the thoughts I had about us spending time together and feeling all this love somehow got to her. She felt the energy I was feeling toward her. She felt the state she induced in me. I fell in love with being in love, even when I thought I would never really physically see her. I knew I wanted to marry this woman from the moment I saw her. Pretty soon, I asked her to marry me. But even though we moved in together, she showed to have fear of commitment and said she is not ready. She grew up without a dad and always struggled with commitment. Still, I kept imagining us married and so in love, and within months, things started falling into place. She even got a wedding dress as a gift out of nowhere. I realized this was synchronicity. After a few months, she told me she feels like if she will ever get married, that it had to be me. She can't picture herself with anyone else. Fast forward 6 months later. She is now my missus. On the day of our wedding, we both cried. I felt so much love and gratitude for having her in my life. Every time I look at her, I feel the same joy I felt when I laid my eyes on her for the first time in that video. How can someone be this lucky? Except you and I both know it wasn't luck. It was a manifestation of what I have imagined. If you listened carefully, I explained exactly the attitude I held, and you wouldn't believe the obstacles we had. Her mother didn't like me. My mother was against the relationship. My father died in the midst of it all. I was struggling with work, We were living in different parts of the world at the time, and that doesn't even begin to cover it. And yet, here we are, in spite of it all. This is what I want you to do, and this is exactly how I manifested my specific person and proudly married her. I want you to sit down, relax, and imagine going 5 or 10 years into the future. And imagine sitting next to your specific person celebrating your anniversary. There are all these people around you, and someone asks, "How did you two get married?" As you sit there, I want you to imagine looking back upon today's circumstance, and I want you to laugh at it. And then I want you to tell them in your mind the story of how you two met and about your circumstances from today, as if they are problems from a long time ago, whatever they are. For example, explain if you lived in different countries and it was so difficult you could barely see each other, but your love was so strong that you ended up together. I want you to almost laugh at the difficulties you are currently experiencing as they are a matter of a joke from long ago. Tell the other person how this seemed as a huge problem at the time, and today you can have a good laugh about it. Even if your specific person is now involved with someone else romantically, and mine was at the time I was imagining the two us together. Still, tell this person at your anniversary how it all worked out, how your wife realized she can only be happy with you and was drawn to you in a way she couldn't explain. Maybe you even have a situation where their mother doesn't like you. Look back at the circumstances as if they are a matter of the past, laugh at it, and go on to say to this person how his or her mom wasn't a big fan of yours. But after she got to know how strongly you care about your girlfriend or boyfriend at the time, she grew to be your biggest fan. And now she loves cooking your favorite meal and inviting you over like you were her own son or daughter. So whatever the circumstances are, even if your specific person rejected you, look back at the rejection like it's a matter of past and smile. Go on to tell them your wife or your man was playing hard to get, but you knew she would come around. You knew she was madly in love with you and was struggling to deal with intense emotions because her insecurities would come up. And you can even imagine your specific person saying how she was scared she wasn't going to be enough, and how all these emotions came up when she realized she found the man she can't say no to. Go on to tell them how this even convinced you she was worth the effort, and laugh at how madly in love you were and scared shitless to show it. Depending on your situation, I don't care what the circumstances are. Imagine overcoming them, and here you are 5 or 10 years later celebrating another anniversary, happier than ever. Imagine you and your partner there sitting next to each other, looking into each other's eyes, both wearing wedding rings, wearing beautiful clothes, having an amazing meal, and telling other people how you got married. Sharing stories about your circumstance that seemed unsurmountable at the time and laughing about it, knowing you still ended up together. Imagine feeling how you only thought you had problems, and all the drama was just your relationship maturing into something even stronger. Feel the thrill as you are telling the story. I want you to enjoy this wholeheartedly. This concept is about you familiarizing with the reality where all of your circumstances are long resolved. So you got what you want and are no longer afraid, intimidated, or insecure about your relationship. You can almost look back at the circumstances and laugh at it. When I was younger, me and my friends would talk about what will happen in the future and what we will do. We would joke about how it will all happen. Today, looking back, so many things that we thought were impossible back then, we have manifested. Every time I tried it, it has worked. I am so grateful to have stumbled upon this in my life because it is beyond powerful. But use it responsibly. You can use it to manifest your marriage, your perfect health, money. Whatever it is, imagine an event where you can feel grateful and celebrating looking back on difficult circumstances like yesterday's news. You are no longer afraid it won't come through. You feel self-assured, composed, happy, secure, satisfied, and looking back at the circumstances and how it is amazing that all of it has been resolved. Remember when you were a little kid? Maybe your favorite toy broke, and if you were anything like me, you probably cried as if it is the end of the world. Years later, there is celebration of some sort, and your mother is there telling everybody in the room how you used to cry like a baby because you broke your favorite toy. You would have a smile on your face because those circumstances back then seemed so big and so real to you. Now, this made you very sad as a kid, but doesn't affect you today. You can look back at the circumstance and understand they only seem bigger than life. Today, you can buy 10 of those toys because you have more independence and security as opposed to when you were a kid. This is how I want you to feel about your circumstances today with your specific person. There is nothing you can't get if you immerse yourself into the future image of the end you want. Enjoy it wholeheartedly. This way, your mind and body are getting familiarized with the new reality, where you are not afraid of the outcome. Unfortunately, sometimes we can do things that postpone our manifestation. This is very important to address. Some of you practicing and trying the teachings of Neville Goddard feel that you're stuck. I noticed you then start overanalyzing the manifestation process. 6 years ago, I would have done the same. And I know now what I did to self-sabotage my manifestations. You may be wondering why you still don't have that special person. It's important to realize manifesting a specific person is like manifesting anything else. However, I used to assume manifesting a specific person is like winning a lottery. Something we perceive as big and hard to manifest will give rise to a lot of resistance around it. If we believe something is hard to manifest, this is what will keep this manifestation away from us. You only believe this because you don't realize that in the realm of manifesting, it is as easy to manifest a castle as it is a button. The little things and the big things are the same. It's only our ego that labels something as big or small. And this labeling then either makes us think it's hard to get or easy to manifest. This is why it is important to put it to your head. You are a spiritual being in a physical body. God has manifested itself through you. And you can be, do, or have anything you want. There are absolutely no limits. All of the limitations are self-imposed. When it comes to manifesting a specific person, there is a lot of resistance around it. A lot of emotional baggage starts coming up. You start believing it won't happen or that it can't happen. All of the feelings of unworthiness and insecurity start to surface up. And then what you do is to start looking for signs outside of you. You switch and try out different processes or try to push it along, especially when this is someone you have already been in a relationship with, or even if it is someone completely new. The resistance is there, hidden because you feel you don't deserve it and how it is possible, but not for you. You are then looking for signs, synchronicities, staring at the reflection, trying to get some sort of confirmation. Your manifestation is on its way. All of this is showing you lack knowledge of how manifestation works and therefore lack faith. I know I have been there. This is very important to address. If you start comparing your value and thinking you need to deserve something in order to get it, you are functioning from a delusional premise. This is not about deserving. This law doesn't operate on those terms. I understand you can feel insecure, but don't make that feeling a fact. Make the feeling you want a solid fact. This is how you create. So I am going to say something completely counterintuitive. If this is your case and all these insecure emotions and fears about the outcome of your relationship are coming up, then you need to stop focusing on the specific person if you want to have the specific person. I will explain. Instead of focusing on them, you need to move into the state of falling in love with being in love. Have you ever wanted someone and they seem to not be interested? And then as soon as you find someone new and you fall in love, all of a sudden your ex gets in contact. It is as if they have some sort of a radar for when you are happy. This is what I mean. What you are chasing isn't just the specific person, you are chasing a feeling. This feeling of being in love is what draws people towards you. You start glowing and become like a magnet. So in order to manifest your specific person, you need to be in a state of feeling in love and not in a state of longing. You almost need to forget about the specific person. You are not really forgetting about them. But if focusing on them makes you think of not having them, then your next step is to let go of the person and hold on to a feeling of being in love. Fall in love with life and make that your state. Enjoy your mornings. Fall in love with having your morning coffee, looking out the window, seeing the beautiful day. Imagine yourself going on a date with them. Have a shower, spray some perfume, go for a walk around the town, flirt with your life. Again, focus is on the state and less on the specific person. The reason is by focusing on them, you have developed resistance. If this is someone you have already been with, you are dragging that experience of the past forward. This makes you resist believing it will happen. Maybe you're even thinking it is just going to be the same. It will be the past all over again, but forget that. You are powerful beyond measure, and this is why I want you to focus on the state and not the person. Because if you are not feeling the love from within, then you are not in a loving state where things just come to you. You can't have that unless you feel that. Another thing that might stand in your way is your attention is still on the outside world. And this is huge. You are focused on the projections, and you need to turn your attention inward. The specific person, he or she, is a shadow, and you are trying to pull that shadow towards you. While focusing on the person, you exude this energy of longing, and this is actually keeping you away from it. All the clinging and insisting on them to come around and give you the feeling of feeling in love, instead of realizing it works the other way around. Stop that and focus on falling in love with being in love. This is powerful. When you do that, I assure you it will come. It is the law. It is that longing energy that makes you analyze synchronicities, dissecting the teachings of Neville Goddard, asking, is it already happening, or if you are doing something wrong? And then you try and rush it. You imagine calling them up and hearing them say how they missed you and how you should get together, and then you get impatient and call them right afterwards. I know what you do. This used to be me, and this is not how this works. This is intervening. You have imagined your outcome and assumed it, and then you started forcing it. You are then rushing what you imagined to happen. And I am not saying don't make any action, but you need to take inspired action. Don't do it from a place of longing or clinging. That is forcing the process. And it's not the phone call that attracts someone to you, it is your state. Don't worry, by pulling back, you are not pulling out of your desire. It is usually that we get what we want the moment we are not attached to it. What you are doing is loosening the attachment to how and when it should happen. This is truly important. Don't insist on when and how. This is not your job. There are 3 kinds of jobs in the world. There is your job, someone else's job, and then there is God's job. Trying to manipulate how and when is not your job. Rather, it is not trusting God in the process to pan out in your best interest. When it comes to manifestation, micromanagement is postponing your manifestation further away. Remember, your imagination is the real reality. If you need to know more about this, go watch my video titled Imagination is the Real Reality to really get a grip on what I am saying. Also, another point I want to make is stop looking for the signs in the outside world. Some people in the spiritual realms say how 3D world is trying to tell you something. So you might end up focusing on signs outside of yourself to get some sort of validation that your manifestation is on its way. This leaves you feeling unstable and out of balance, like you're not even in your own body. Let me tell you something, 3D world isn't telling you anything. I know we have all been programmed to look for validation instead of trusting our own guidance system. But trust me when I tell you, it is just a crooked belief system. You create by virtue of what you think and feel, and your creation comes with a certain delay. It is perfectly normal that it doesn't happen instantaneously. It is not an instant creation. During this delay, you need to have faith in the law and trust that your state will bring the circumstances to match it. That is the law. Don't waste energy on trying to interpret the 3D reality, because all you will do is put limitations on it. You are trying to perceive the results of your state through the physical ego looking for signs on the outside. You are better off enjoying your state. So stop checking your phone, their social media, trying to figure out why it isn't there yet, or pondering how it is supposed to happen. Stop thinking and obsessing. Instead, think from the end. Live in that end and fall in love with being in love. This state attracts like a magnet. Indulge in it and enjoy it wholeheartedly. I also got to say something very important that you may not like, but it is the truth. Although imagining yourself in a healthy relationship with someone special is a good way to go, focusing on that someone specifically to be that person and none other could be blocking the love to come into your life. Years ago, I used this method on one woman, and I was left convinced after years of insisting and trial and error and finally getting her that she is not the one for me. I am not saying this is your case, I have no idea. But be open to love and loving someone special even if it is someone else. And I know you will say, no, I am sure it has to be that person. And you see, this is exactly the kind of approach that keeps love away from you. That's not loving. Instead, it is wanting, it is longing. And all this will create is more longing in all areas of your life. So you don't spend years of blocking love from your life like I did. Learn from my mistakes. Fall in love with the idea of love. Focus on that state, not the person. Don't settle for anything less than what truly makes you happy, and allow love to happen by falling in love with being in love, and it will be yours, I promise. Thank you for watching. I want to personally thank all of you who commented and inspired me to do this video. Creating it has been very emotional for me, as it is an important part of my life. As always, I would truly appreciate if you like the video. It's free for you and it helps YouTube promote my content, which would really mean a lot to me. Be sure to subscribe to never miss out on new content. And if you have something to add to all of this, please be my guest and write to me in the comments section. How is your situation with your specific person? I would love to hear about your own experiences in the comments, and I will get to it as soon as I can. You may even inspire a new video. See you in the next one.